My name's Sean Galloway. I'm here with Mr. Harry Randall, and he's been nice enough to take time out to talk about his experiences in Carroll County. How are you today, Mr. Randall?
Well, I'm pretty well. I'm 85 years old, and I was in the Second World War, but I came back after the war, and my father bought a home here in Carroll County down on Route 40. I didn't even know where it was at, actually, because I'd never been to Carroll County, I don't think, before. I was born in Baltimore City, and I lived in Arnold, Maryland, in Anne Arundel County. And other than that, after the war, I came here in 1945 and to live with my father's farm right down the road on Route 40. Mt Airy in general, I thought it was a nice little village from the very first time I came up here. I know we've had several little fires in Mt Airy and things like this, and you asked me some questions.
Okay, all right. When you mentioned you came to Carroll County after the World War II.
Yes, sir.
And you had never heard of Carroll County until up to that point, or never been here.
Well, no, I don't think I remember being in Westminster a couple of times, but that was years ago. But like I say, Mt Airy was total new to me, and like I say, I thought it was a nice little village, and I enjoyed living here. I met a lot of wonderful people here. So you go ahead and ask me some questions, and I'll try to answer them.
All right. So when you came to Mt Airy that first time after World War II, what was your impression?
Well, like I say, I've been all over Europe, and when I got here, I thought it was a nice little friendly village, and the people seemed to be very friendly toward me. They accepted me in the village, and I got to know quite a number of people in Mt Airy and become great friends with them, you know. And other than that, I never actually worked in Mt Airy, but I commuted back and forth to the Naval Academy, where I retired from, and so on. But I know the village itself, and seeing the village, how much it has changed, and some of the older buildings where they had torn down and built new buildings in place of them, the parking lot and so on, parking area. And yeah, so you asked me some questions.
Okay.
I'll try to answer.
All right. So when you were commuting back and forth between this area and Annapolis for work, how was that trip for you every day?
Well, I got used to it pretty well, much so. It was, like I say, it was a routine thing for me to just drive the distance down to Annapolis and the Naval Academy. And by the way, Sean, I built my home here on Bennett Branch Road myself, and my son built it. He's an engineer. And I still live in the home that I built here in Mt Airy area. Actually, it's in Carroll County, but we call it Mt Airy in general. It's Bennett Branch Road. But other than that, I think the people in general in Mt Airy here are very friendly, and they're very, very well accepting, outsiders to become Mt Airyans, I guess you would pronounce them, and they kind of friendly with the people and encourage them to, live in this area, because I noticed there's a lot of new developments all throughout the county here, Frederick County and the Carroll County, and it just seems to me, the more I love people, I love to talk to people. You know, my wife used to say to me, Sean, once I start talking, I just can't stop. But ask me some more questions.
All right. So how long ago when you built your own? What year was it when you built your own house?
Well, 40 right after war. Let's say I came home here, and I wanted to buy some property here in Carroll County, and it so happens the people who owned the property couldn't sell it at the time, so I bought 3 acres, which was required. You had to have 3 acres of ground in order to build a house on. So I bought 3 acres of ground, I put my house on it, and I'm still living there today. And I'll probably be living there the rest of my life. I hope so anyway. I know I have a lot of thoughts about getting in. I mean, I'm 85 years old, and I have a lot of thoughts about getting in business for myself, because I was in business at one time. I had a corporation myself, and I would do decorating and painting and drywall work. Well, after having some bad accounts, I went out of business. I couldn't keep up with the business, and that's why I went down to the Naval Academy in Annapolis and worked, you know. So other than that, I still think that Carroll County in general is one of the best counties in the state of Maryland as far as I'm concerned. I'm quite familiar with quite a number of counties in Maryland here, and I enjoy it. It's a nice county. It's clean, and well, I can't say enough about it really, because going to some of the other counties in Maryland, I just came over from the Eastern Shore the other day, and believe me, some of them places over there, and this is ugly as ugly can be, because all I saw was cornfields and soybean fields. But other than that, Sean, I'm about out of breath.
Okay. So when you worked in Annapolis, what was your job out there?
Well, when I built yachts in Annapolis
Oh,
for
that's
John
interesting.
Trumpy and Son, I was in charge and make sure all the boats were completed before we turned them over to the owner and put them in the water. And after John Trumpy went out of business, he decided that he told me, he said, "Harry, can you get another job?" I said, "Sure, Mr. Trumpy." I went over to the Naval Academy, and believe me, it was one of the best jobs ever in my life. In fact, the captain in charge of the Naval Academy at the time, Public Works Division, he told me personally he would hire anybody that worked at Trumpy's right off without even having to fill out an application, because the people that worked at Trumpy's at the time were well qualified craftsmen. They could do just about anything. Now, I had met a lot of friends that worked there and people who worked with me. It was just a wonderful job. And then, as I say, when I went to the Naval Academy, I had a lot of responsibilities there doing the work at the Naval. I met the admirals and the people in charge of the various halls, and one hall, which is Rickover Hall, one of my best friends, he was in charge of Rickover Hall at the Naval Academy. His name was Joe Enzinger. But anyway, I'm out of breath.
Oh, you all right? Are you okay? Okay. So tell me, did you have any brothers or sisters?
I have, yes. I have, well, it's 5 of us. I'm the last of my family alive on both sides of my family.
Really?
All my brothers and all my sisters are passed away. I'm the last one. Now, I think this is kind of weird, because, not to change the subject, but I was in the Second World War, and from Omaha Beach all the way to Holland, I got wounded 4 different times, once in Omaha, and once up in Normandy, and once in Luxembourg, and once in Belgium. So I was wounded 4 different times, Sean. I never got my Purple Hearts, and believe me, I do not lie, Sean, and this is a God's truth. I took my company down in September 1945 to get the boat at the Havre, France, to get them home. I went back to get the rest of the men at the regimental. They had left and went to Italy. The officers also went to Italy. And John, I went back to Le Havre, the Camp Lucky Strike in Le Havre. They were all gone, and so help me, I was left over there, didn't have no money, nothing to eat.
Oh, wow.
And look, so help me, I met a lady from the American Red Cross, Sean, and she said, "Well, go down that tent that has a light in it down there. I'll bring you something to eat down." Sean, so help me. After she brought me something to eat down, the next morning she brought me something to eat down. She said, "Now, there's another sergeant here that they left over here. Now, tomorrow you're going across the channel to get the boat and go home." We went across the channel to Southampton, England, got on the aircraft carrier Enterprise, and came home in December 1945.
Wow.
That was the worst storm, Sean. So help me, it was the worst storm they had in the North Atlantic in 50 years.
Wow.
We made it to New York Harbor, and thank God I'm still alive.
That's a great story.
I'm talking about the war. I do it all.
Oh, that's fine.
But,
That's interesting.
No, if I live the rest of my life in Carroll County, I figure I'll belly up in here and I'll be happy.
You seem to have lived a very well life.
Well, you know what they say, Sean. My doctors up here, they tell me I'm as healthy as a billy goat eating tin cans. But anyway, I'm just cutting up, you know. But let's say I'm 85 years old, Sean, and I'm healthy. I'm getting ugly,
Oh.
and I'm just cutting up. But believe me, as far as the Mount Airy is concerned, I think it has wonderful opportunities, and there's a lot of possibilities in Mount Airy for young people who want to start their own business, because the older people are leaving Mount Airy, and you can see some of the places are closed up, you know. But I thought about one time I'd like to get in the restaurant business. Excuse me. My uncle was a cook. I'm always cooking myself. But anyway, Sean, I'm just about out of breath.
Okay, well, we wrapped. I think you've given us more than enough to listen to.
And no lies.
No, very entertaining, very entertaining.
And no lies.
No lies, all truth. Well,
That's honor.